Hello and welcome back to another episode of Healing Our Community with Dr. Ray and Jean. Hi, I am Dr. Ray,
And I'm Jean.
and this podcast is a engagement of real talk about mental health, and specifically mental health as it applies to the Western Slope. Today we are talking about the cost of comfort, why true commitment requires discomfort.
Inspired by your dad.
Inspired by my dad. Before we get into that, I just want to remind you that this is a live podcast. So if you have any questions or comments, just put it into the comments section if you're watching on Facebook. And then also if you're watching on YouTube as well. If you want to catch any past episodes, you can actually go to our YouTube channel where it's all on there. But you can also go to now kbhcenter.org where we have a podcast page and you can see all past podcasts and past topics. Today, as Jean mentioned, this topic is courtesy of my dad. Yeah, he had sent over this really cool article by Mollie Engelhart, and she wrote this article called The Cost of Comfort. And she was writing about waking up with a painful sty in her eye and how that irritation really consumed her attention. It made her realize how hyper focused we've become on avoiding any kind of discomfort. And then it hit me. This is exactly why people fail at making commitments to change,
Yes.
right? That we are trying to avoid discomfort.
The hardest chair to get out of is a comfortable one.
Is a comfortable one, especially with all the lazy boys we have out there today. And I'm talking about the furniture. I'm not talking about people. Right?
The recliners.
Right. So it also made me start thinking about how modern life has been tailored and created for comfort and for convenience.
Yes.
Right. We rarely experience any real discomfort or friction anymore. Everything has just been bulldozed in front of us.
It's interesting how much comfort creates a problem. You know, like people used to sleep on straw
beds.
and now it's like, oh, my Tempur-Pedic isn't comfortable enough. I need my pillow topper on top of that. And this, oh, this is giving me this ache, so I need this thing to give me that. And the shoes we wear and all this,
and
everything
your
has
side
to
of
be
the
so
bed
fancy.
needs to be a different
Cooler than my
temperature.
side. Yeah.
And like
Yeah, and you need harder or softer or whatever. And I don't think it helps us sleep better.
No, I don't know.
We're just chasing
makes
comfort.
us soft.
Yeah.
So the human brain, if we were going to talk about neurobiology, the human brain is actually designed for energy conservation. And I think we talked about this in a previous podcast before, but feelings and worries, like worry, anxiety, all of that, it requires very little neural energy. Those pathways are already grooved, they're deeply grooved, and they're supposed to be that way for survival, right?
As opposed to learning something new.
As opposed to learning something new. And if we are to attempt a new behavior or try to learn something new, that takes a lot more energy in our brain. And that unfamiliarness in our brain, it actually, our brain starts to react to it, right? And it starts to react in a way of saying, don't do that. Go back to what you know and what is comfortable.
Right.
Right.
Your default. Man, my computer does that too. I try to change it and it keeps defaulting. It's so annoying.
Well,
yeah.
Yes, we are used to what we are used to, right? Yes. So, we have this comfort trap, and that is just, it's hardwired into us. And so, in order to actually make a change in your life or to create something new, it does take energy. It takes effort, right? And then also, when we are trying to change something, we feel inspired, right? So we get this boost of dopamine in our brain and makes us feel good, makes us feel energized and focused on our goal. But dopamine isn't designed to last, right? It is a neurotransmitter that goes through our system very quickly. So when we get that dopamine drop, that's when we lose our focus, right? We lose our momentum. That's when tasks become really
This is why people
challenging.
procrastinate, because they need to have the pressure of something getting done in order to have the brain chemistry to actually get it done,
Yeah.
as opposed to like spacing it out and doing it, you know.
Yeah, and I think, most people also they don't realize that anything worth creating, anything worth building or truly experiencing in life, healthy marriage, raising healthy kids, being successful at a job or running a business, that sort of thing. It
Decorating your house,
takes decorating, yeah, putting the energy
anything.
into
Yep.
decorating your house
Yep.
versus like paying someone to do it. It is it is inherently uncomfortable.
Yep.
It takes absolute energy to be able to initiate it. And not only just initiate it, because then you get the dopamine hit and then dopamine goes away, but to completely follow through with it, right? And to go through with all of that, right?
It's sort of like when you want to cook a delicious meal and you spend all day in the kitchen and then you don't want to do the dishes.
I never want to do the
I
dishes.
know you never want to
I
do the
never want to do
dishes.
the dishes.
I know.
Yeah. Especially if I cook. If I cook and then do the dishes, then I don't. That's the double whammy.
Well, you're kind of like that with everything. Like when you're done using a tool,
Drop it
there it
right there.
is.
I may need it right there. Who knows, right? So, what we're talking about here is that follow through. Okay.
Hmm.
And, as we said, that dopamine hit is very short lived. And so, because of that, we need something else in order to be able to follow through on change, on something new. And that is purpose,
Hmm.
right? To have a true purpose behind our actions and what we want to change and what we want to implement in our life. If we don't have purpose, then all of those discomforts can feel very overwhelming and we are going to be frozen and not move.
I think about like learning, and when you go to school and you have a structure and you have a teacher and you have things that you have to get done, the purpose is right to get a degree or whatever it is. But do you do that at home? Do you just like, oh, I'm going to learn how to do this thing, and how much effort that takes to be self-motivated to, especially if it's a long thing that you have to learn.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why people like taking classes, because then it's kind of structured for them, whether it's learning stained glass or learning welding
Well,
or
I mean, even
learning
taking
anything.
a class, people
Hmm.
can drop out. They can stop in the middle of it if they don't have a purpose in mind. It's like, I
Right.
am taking this class for this reason.
Right.
That is what's going to drive me through it,
Yeah.
through the difficult times.
Yeah, I'm thinking about a study that was done, and they took these four groups of people, and none of them had played piano before. And the first group, they had to play piano 2 hours a day, every day for 2 weeks, and they had to play a lesson. So they were playing the same thing over and over again. The second group, this is interesting. They also had to play the piano 2 hours every day for 2 weeks,
Hmm.
but they could just do whatever they wanted. They didn't have to be repetitive. So they were doing the same action, but they were not being repetitive. The third group didn't have to play at all. And the fourth group had to imagine playing for 2 hours a day. So
So
for
not
2 hours
actually
a
do
day,
it,
they
just
wouldn't physically
imagine.
do it, but in their mind they would see themselves, and they also were playing the same lesson over and over again in their
Mm-hmm.
minds. And they saw in the brain what happened in the first group. Learning it occurred, right? Those people that were playing a lesson over and over again for 2 weeks, their brain rewired, they learned something. The
Mm-hmm.
second group, which went through the motions but wasn't repetitive, they didn't learn anything. Their brain didn't change at all. Third group, of course, didn't change. And the fourth group also learned. They also changed.
Hmm.
And so there's something in our minds, and really great athletes are able to do this. They're able to mentally see themselves performing their event their golf swing, whatever that is, which actually translates into them being better athletes. So there's that relationship between the mind and what we think and what we're physically doing, because we can physically do something and not get better at it, like the second one.
Yeah, and especially if you don't have a reason to do it,
Right.
right? If it's I need to show off, or I need to, some other reason behind it that isn't a true purpose for yourself, you're not going to follow through.
I think this is why, I like to play games on my phone, and it gives them to you in like 1 minute things. And then you get an ad, but it's like you accomplish it and then you accomplish it and you know what I mean?
That's how they get you.
That's how they get you.
Get you.
But it's only for 1 minute. But that 1 minute can turn into hours. But if I try to actually pull out a logic puzzle or something else and do it in real life, it feels very different in my brain.
Is it more discomfort?
Yes.
Yeah. So as we have been talking, we've identified that there's going to be discomfort.
Yes.
Whenever you're doing something new, or whenever you're challenging yourself. So the goal isn't to eliminate discomfort, because that is absolutely going to happen, right? It's a guarantee. So what is the goal here? How can we transform something that's uncomfortable, right? But we have purpose behind it. We want to create this. We want to accomplish it.
I was just thinking about, we actually invite people over to our house and we clean our house. That gives us the purpose, right?
Right.
You guys know who you are too.
Yeah.
We invite
Right.
over.
Right. So we have the part of our brain that's the prefrontal cortex. That's where we have our goal-oriented part of the brain, setting the goal. We need to do this. We have purpose in mind. And then we have the amygdala, and that's the emotional part of our brain. Then we have the dopamine hit. We have this feeling of like, we're gonna do this, we're excited, and then the dopamine wears off. And then how do we push through the discomfort? Well, we have to change our relationship to it.
Mm-hmm.
We have to understand and learn to carry that friction and the discomfort that comes with it, because the goal matters more than that temporary ease of quitting and stopping.
An interesting thing that you can do that can really help, it's not foolproof, but it really helps, is to say out loud what you're going to change and to let other people know what you're doing. And it holds you to more level of accountability and gets you through the difficult part if you have that kind of accountability and support.
Right. Interestingly enough, I read that today, July 8th, 1776, was the first time that the Declaration of Independence was read aloud to the general public.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
So it's, talking about
putting it out there,
publicly acknowledging and publicly declaring that this is what we're
and I
going
think
to do.
it really focuses you. Like if you're like, oh, I'm going to try to be healthier. What does that mean? But if you say, I'm going to eat this food and do this exercise and do this, then that specificness is really important. I think we've talked about goal setting before.
Yeah, we have.
How you need that kind of stuff.
Right. Another thing is changing your physical environment.
Yeah.
Right. I remember you used to switch our furniture around.
Yes.
Right. Changing your physical environment, it helps you not slip into the old habitual comfort zones and everything. Leaving your phone in another room.
Mm-hmm.
If your commitment is to better sleep. I know we do that. We leave our phones in another room. And the thing is about changing our purpose, redefining, what it means to us. That takes effort too.
I'm trying to think if I've ever made a commitment to change, followed through with it, because we do those 40-day practices where we change, and then it's stuck. I don't think it ever actually sticks. It always takes that effort, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how many times have we had a commitment to work out or something, and we would do it really well for 6 months even, but it doesn't stick as a habit. So I think habits, that path of least resistance is pretty strong. That, all you need to do is be sick for a couple days or get really busy and you're out of that routine.
Well, as we discussed, the brain likes that
Yeah.
comfortable zone, and it is going to challenge you every time that you want to do something new.
And a body in motion stays in motion, and a body at rest stays at rest. So it's very difficult to go from rest to motion.
Here's a question just to kind of throw out to all of you. Um, Look at a change that you're trying to make right now, and are you waiting for it to feel comfortable, or are you ready to carry a little friction to build something better? Right? You can throw your comments to us if you like, but just think about that, ponder about that. Um,
I'm waiting till I'm comfortable.
right. So here's a quote. It's really I thought was pretty powerful. It says, the best parts of your life will not come from hiding in your comfort zone. Identify your purpose, expect the friction, build your guardrails, and give yourself the grace to carry the weight.
I think that's why we hike, right? It's nobody likes hiking, right, Tegan? It's very painful. And no one can ever take it away from you when you get it, when
Mm.
you've done it. And it's really inspirational to accomplish those things. But starting out, this is going to hurt. This is not going to, what do we always say? This can't go up forever, even though it feels like it
Can't
every time.
go up forever. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Well, we want to thank you so much for joining us on our podcast today. This podcast is designed to spark conversation, to have real talk about mental health, because we can't have change without real talk. So let's keep talking, Delta County.